Curtis Gilbert has an audience member with a question.
That's right, Mike. I'm here with David. He's from Roseville, and he's got an environmental question for the candidates.
Yes, already one of you said something about we live in a global world. Well, we do live in a global world, and climate change caused by global warming is a very, very serious issue. The United States government has a lot they can do regarding decreasing the impact of climate change. So I'd like to hear from each candidate what they are going to do to protect our climate for my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. Thank you.
And who wants to start? How about Steve Carlson?
I have a program which I would like to introduce to Congress. We don't want to argue about what caused global warming, but one thing we know is a terrible drought and heat that is killing our crops and really hurting our economy, and it's worldwide. So what we need to do is build up our water infrastructure. We want to make sure that we can irrigate land and have adequate water supplies, and it's going to be a change. I think many of those have been neglected, and we should immediately do that. It should have been done already to create jobs, and it's something that's really going to help us, our economy and environment as well.
Is that a new government program?
I was surfing the news the other day, and I was shocked because there wasn't much coverage in mainstream media. The ice shelf has melted at a faster rate than scientists realized, and they were quite taken back by this. So climate change is real. It's happening, and Minnesota has been a leader, and I think our country could look to Minnesota for some leadership. Minnesota believes in a portfolio that includes clean energy as well as ways in which that we invest in the jobs that the clean energy market brings. For example, wind energy in Minnesota. We don't have a lot of fossil fuels here. We're going to need a mix. Wind energy is a way in which we can bring manufacturing jobs, bring high-tech jobs, and also reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Solar. There's so many opportunities of what we can do here, and we can use our engineering schools, and we can use the technical workers, and we can use the workforce here in order to create jobs, and at the same time reduce our footprint to the negative for the next generation on this planet.
Tony. As somebody who's been training for the Twin Cities Marathon, I can tell you July was a hot month. There's two different schools of thought about climate change, whether it's being caused by humans or whether it's just a normal cycle of the Earth. I'm not a climate scientist. I'm not running for Congress to be a scientist. I think what the federal government can do is to promote an open and free scientific community. We have one of the best university systems in the entire world. I happen to disagree with the government becoming involved in green companies. I think that that's just another form of crony capitalism. An example of that is Solyndra. Solyndra was an epic failure. Once again, the federal government decided to back a $500 million loan of our money for this company that was promoting green energy. Well, at the end of the day, it wasn't founded on any principles. It wasn't a legitimate business. They went bankrupt and they lost all of your money. That's just another example of the federal government becoming involved in something that's not constitutional, that it shouldn't become involved with, and that it's ultimately just wasting money and wasting our resources.
Well, then I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to assume. It would sound to me then that you would be a person who would agree that we should get rid of the oil subsidies, because the oil subsidies were set up at a time in this country when oil production was just new and they were trying to kind of expand it and move it forward. The oil companies are doing just fine. I filled up my tank yesterday. They're doing just fine, folks. So if you don't think we should be subsidizing and investing in future and alternative energies and ways to reduce greenhouse gas, where would you be on oil company subsidies?
You hit the nail on the head. We need to end the oil subsidies to big oil. Absolutely. I'm in favor of tax reform, equality in the tax rate, and getting rid of this idea where the government is picking winners or losers. I think we
just had a moment of bipartisan agreement. What about tripartisan agreement?
Yeah, I think we can. Somebody from the audience asked when I talk about water infrastructure, does that mean more big government programs? I think water is an important function for the government. But now we're getting into energy, and I think it's very important that the government not pick winners and losers. And here's the reason. Because we need, just like in healthcare, we need that energy of the market investment. We also need consumers to buy this stuff. We don't want to create, nice buildings for government to spend more taxpayer money on. We want people to want to buy it in their homes.